This is Hard Parking, brought to you by Right Honda and Right Toyota out of Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm your host, Jhae Pfenning, recording this from Gilbert, Arizona. This first part of the podcast is taking place at 4:22 p.m. on February 12th of 2023. The Super Bowl starts in 8 minutes, or 8 minutes-ish. We do this every year. I love this part. I love this episode because I get to call around to friends of the show, celebrities, and get their official Super Bowl picks before the Super Bowl. And of course, this always airs after the Super Bowl. So that's going to be first. Then we'll get into the context of the show. I recently had my garage floor done. Went with polyspartic coating. And you're going to learn why after the Super Bowl segment. I had Hayden of Precision Auto Works join the call to talk about why I went with their flooring solution. He didn't ask to. I just kind of reached out to him. He's going to be better at that than I am. But in just a few moments, we're going to get to the official Super Bowl picks. But at first, I have to tell you about 4Wheel Online. For over a decade, 4Wheel Online has been bringing the best truck accessories and truck parts to enhance the appearance and performance of all trucks and SUVs. They're dedicated to providing an extensive range of... I don't know why I say this instead of just playing the pre-recorded, but they are dedicated to providing an extensive range of upgrades that will match any make or model on the road. Their truck products cover everything you need to give your truck a custom look and added functionality. Need a wheel and tire package? Head over to use the configuration tool. They carry all the major brands of wheels and tires, so go get outfitted today. Visit them online at 4Wheel Online. That's the number 4, Wheel Online, or call them at 813-769-2451. So here's the deal. I spent some decent money on DraftKings, not a lot, like $100 or so, on 8 or 9 different picks, but I did not. Actually, I did, but only like $5. I don't know who's going to win this game. The Eagles should win this game. If anyone's going to get their butt kicked, it should be the Eagles kicking the crap out of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I want the Chiefs to win just for the legacy of Patrick Mahomes. He's gotten off to probably the best start, arguably the best start in NFL history for a young quarterback. He's only in his mid-20s. But as Dan Marino will tell you, he went back his second year, historically known as the greatest quarterback to never win a Super Bowl. So I say that to say that just because you're great early on doesn't mean you're going to have an entire career of greatness. The Chiefs are kind of limping into this. Mahomes is limited as well with his high ankle sprain. If you held a gun to my head and told me to pick the winner, I would say the Eagles. But this is the first time in NFL history where 2 black quarterbacks have gone head to head. This is Black History Month. I'm going to say that the black quarterback will win. This will be monumental either way. Jalen Hurts is a really, really good young quarterback. Coming into this season, the Eagles weren't quite sure what Jalen Hurts was going to be for them. He had a big question mark, and he has balled out this year. Eagles should win big. The Chiefs could win, and if the Chiefs do win, it will not be by big, but let's just hope we have a good game. Again, I'm recording this just before the game kicks off now in 5 minutes. We'll see what happens. We'll see who was right. We'll see who was wrong. And then we'll see why I bought the flooring I bought for the garage. Let's get to those Super Bowl predictions.
Ready, down,
Mr. Reggie Watkins, actor, all sorts of crazy things, host of I'm Probably Right podcast. I could go on and go on, but what I really want to know is, actually, I was going to ask you who you have for the Super Bowl, and I'm still going to ask you who you have for the Super Bowl. I was going to throw a little LeBron jab in there, but I don't want this to be an hour conversation. So who do you have for the Super Bowl?
Not today. I got the Eagles, man. I'm taking the Eagles. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time, but he's starting to live speaking of LeBron, he's starting to live in the LeBron space where this dude is so great, we take it for granted, and we expect him to perform miracles. He
right.
should not beat the Eagles. They have no business beating the Eagles. But if they do, I don't want to hear anything about no dude named Brady ever again. Patrick Mahomes is already the greatest quarterback of all time. And if he finds a way to beat the Eagles, I don't want to hear nothing from nobody.
Did you just call Mahomes the GOAT? He's off to it. He's off to the greatest start in NFL history for sure.
Greatest quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
Most talented.
And if we keep it real, Brady isn't even. I mean, man, Steve Young is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen in a single season in the NFL of all time, and he doesn't get half the love that he deserves. So, I like Brady, but he just happened to be on the best teams all the time.
7 rings.
Yeah. Hey, man.
I mean,
Best
it's kind of
teams.
hard. Look. I love Mahomes, and he's off to the greatest start in NFL history. And if he keeps at this pace, he's going to catch Brady. But a little bit of luck,
Jay, hold on. If you switch Mahomes with Brady on any of those Patriot teams, are you telling me they don't win because they have Mahomes and not Brady instead of Brady?
You can't do that math.
No, you can, because that's how you decide. Like
that math doesn't work.
Reggie, is no play.
Reggie,
you can remember.
We were gonna have to listen. I think Mahomes is great. I have the Chiefs. I don't know how the hell he's gonna do it. He's actually terrible in the 3 Super Bowls. He's 2 touchdowns, like 6 picks in the two or three Super Bowls he's played in so far. The 2, like he doesn't. I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, he got destroyed on a busted leg the last time against a less good defense. So I have
what are you talking about? Are you talking about the Bucs? The Bucs were the number 1 defense in the league when they lost.
No, but statistically, listen. Statistically, the Bucs aren't nearly as good as this Eagles team, and Mahomes is even more hurt now than he was then because he was hobbled in that game as well.
He was hobbled, and he was missing 3 offensive starting linemen against the number 1 defense in the league, and he still kept them in the game.
They got beat up pretty bad, dude.
Oh man,
we don't have time for this right now.
We'll do it.
We've debated sports before. I do my homework before I open my mouth. So, with that being said, all right, well, we're gonna see what happens, and you and I need to get on the horn and schedule something.
We'll do it, my man. Be good.
Thanks, Watkins.
Enjoy.
Later.
All right.
Ready, down, put.
Yo. So we do this every year. I need your Super Bowl pick. This is the Victor Togunde, friend of the show, friend of mine. I feel like you're like one of my longest running friends.
Yeah, man. Represent Garland, Texas.
It's all about that GTX. So, okay. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I want Philly to win it. And it's crazy saying that as a Cowboys fan, but I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. So I'm rooting for Jalen Hurts. So I'm going Phillies.
All right, because you said you want them to win, almost as if you were going to say, I want them to win. But I kind of.
Listen. It's Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, right? Like, you can't go wrong. They've been there before.
This is a weird one, right? I mean, the spread is a point and a half. So who do you have? You say you want the Eagles to win. What score?
Yeah, what's the score? I'm going to say 17-14 Eagles. I think it's going to be a one. Yeah, tight defensive game.
All right, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, man. Ready, down, put.
Yo.
He is Noel G, affectionately known as Hector in just about everything. What's up, my man?
What up?
Who you got in the Super Bowl?
The Raiders, man, all day long.
All right, we'll see if the Raiders are going to win this year.
We're a confidence building team, so what we do is we like to build confidence in other teams, and that's why we lose, so we can help other teams out. You know what I mean?
We're a humble team. Man.
We're a humble team, bro.
All right, we'll see, man. Thanks, my guy.
All right.
What the hell is going on with you? Do you need me to call 911?
I'm dying over here, bro. Sorry about that, man. I got a bad cough.
I'm gonna leave that on.
It's all good.
All right, take care, man.
All right, my G. Much love, man.
Much love. Later.
Yes, sir.
Ready, down, put.
This man needs no real introduction, but just for the sake of having it on record that he may have picked correct or incorrectly, Cody Walker, who do you have for the Super Bowl?
Man, I don't even know who's in the Super Bowl.
It's the Patriots and the Jets.
That sounds really believable.
Yeah. I had you until
we got Kansas.
They both suck, actually.
We got the Chiefs, and we have
the Eagles.
Who? Are you pulling my leg? Or are you being serious?
No, I'm being serious, man. So Noel said the Raiders would win, but it's the Chiefs and the Eagles.
I did not watch much of football this season.
50-50.
I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs and Mahomes. How about that?
All right, the Chiefs and Mahomes. And what do you say, 44-10?
Let's go with,
it's not that hard.
42-21.
Wow, so kind of a butt kicking.
Yeah, 42-21 Chiefs.
42-21 Chiefs. All right, it's down. It's packed. and we'll find out after today.
All right, man. Sounds good.
He is America's favorite personality of NASCAR. Definitely one of mine, or actually the only my only favorite. I mean, Al Weaver is Al Weaver, but Mr. Mamba Smith, who do you have a Super Bowl? Who's going to win?
Okay, so here's the thing, is I'm a big New England Patriots fan, so I'd rather them both lose in this one, because, you know, if Mahomes wins, then everyone's talking about him being a
Next
GOAT,
Brady,
and
right? Yeah.
I'm like, come on now, like, it took Brady 3 before anyone even brought that up. Like, I get it, he's got the stats, but, like, come on. And then the Eagles, like, I like the players of the Eagles, but their fans are so obnoxious.
They're the worst.
So I'm like, but unfortunately, I got to go Birds because, you know, it's not the players' fault that I hate their fans. So
that's facts. Do you have a score prediction or you're just going Birds?
Ooh, let's go. You know, the Super Bowl is usually pretty low scoring. Let's go 31, though. We're going to go 31-27 Birds.
That's low scoring?
No, but it normally is. It's normally low scoring, and I'm like, you know, you got to score. Like, Mahomes is going to score, so you got to score. So
cool. Well, we'll find out, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Ready, down,
put. Ryan, I'm not feeling very good today. I've had a shitty weekend. Eversley.
Yeah, it's been a rough week.
Sorry to hear that, man. Hey, so who do you have in the Super Bowl? I know. So you're one of the few people that I'm calling that's actually a sports fan.
Yeah. So I'm a Niners guy. The Eagles took out the Niners pretty disrespectfully. I mean, it was brutal. So I got to go with Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm going 28-21.
28-21. Now, hold on. It was disrespectful, but I'm telling you, Purdy doesn't go down. They were moving that ball. I think we have a different game. I don't know if they would have won, but we definitely would have had a different game because the Eagles weren't doing shit for a while.
No, yeah, it was that was even more frustrating because it wasn't like they were on it too. You know, you're like, this is how we're losing. This is how it ends. So
I think Mamba took the Eagles.
Those NASCAR guys, I tell you.
So you guys are going to have a rivalry. All right, man. Take care.
Appreciate it,
I'll
buddy.
talk to you. Bye.
All right, Zach.
Ready, down, put.
He is Darnell King, team captain of the Phoenix Rising USL United Soccer League. Darnell, who is going to win the Super Bowl?
Got to go with my East Coast Eagles, you know. I mean, you know, Jalen Hurts and the boys are going to do their thing today, so I'm excited for them to take that Super Bowl home.
Man, that was seamless. Let me ask you this really quick. Do you scoff at them because you guys are football everywhere else in the world? Here you're just soccer.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been around it enough to understand the difference. I think some of my foreign teammates are like, why did they call that game football when they barely use their feet? So I don't, you know, it's normal to me, but not to many others. So
that's hilarious, man. Well, hey, thank you so much. Enjoy your day, and we're going to find out who's going to win.
Absolutely, man. Thanks.
Ready, down, put.
Noah Nelson, my celebrity crush. You're such a good-looking individual, man, and I know, and you're the biggest sports fan that I'm calling today.
It's about time that you recognize those facts.
Oh, I recognize it, man. So who do you have? First off, do you even know who's playing?
Yes, I looked it up right before you called me. It's the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Cowboys. Kidding, Eagles.
Well, you say that. Are you still in Dallas?
I'm still in Dallas, yeah.
Okay, so we have Chiefs versus Eagles. Who does
a lot of unhappy
Noah Nelson
people
have? Oh, yeah, of course there are. It's Dallas.
So I have Eagles, and I don't have a score, but I think it's going to be a blowout after the halftime.
That's fair. Okay, we'll see. Enjoy.
Is that it?
That's it, man. That's all I need you for.
Hey, God bless you, man. Oh, and happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, I was telling my wife and Wes and everybody, you know, Noah didn't even wish me happy birthday.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
All right, buddy.
All right, man.
Later.
Have a good one.
Ready, down, put.
Wes Tankersley, friend of the show, my partner in crime, One Drink Wednesday with Wes and Jay. Who is going to win the Super Bowl?
It's going to be the Chefs, man. The Chefs.
The Chefs. Do you have a score?
27-3.
Oh, an ass whooping. I love it.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll find out.
Yeah. All right, man.
So the Super Bowl has ended. The first part of this episode, it was before the game. Now it is after the game. if you haven't been paying attention, the Chiefs won 38-35, came down to a field goal. A lot of people are upset because the Eagles were called for a penalty late in the game, a pivotal penalty, but the guy held him, defensive holding. They call that probably 50% of the time, and maybe it shouldn't come down to that. I don't know, but the Chiefs did prevail. Patrick Mahomes is now 2-1 in the Super Bowl. I'm not going to be insane like Reggie and say he's the GOAT, which stands for the greatest of all time. Tom Brady went to 10 Super Bowls and won 7. He spent half of his career in the Super Bowl. So Mahomes is going to have to play a long time to make that happen. And so far, he's on a great run. So far, he's doing really good. But how many times in any sport is somebody great for 5 or 6 years and they fall off due to injury? Maybe they just peak. It's not just good enough to be great. Great is about consistency, about preparation, a little bit of luck. You have to have a great team around you. Hats off to Patrick Mahomes. I'm glad he won. He played really well because the last 2 times he's in the Super Bowl, he played like shit. Even the one that they won. 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in the previous 2 games. And by the way, Reggie said he kept them in the game against the Bucs, the Chiefs in the game against the Bucs. That is factually false. They got beat 31-9. 31-9. And that's what my concern was. But he was hobbled. He ran around. I thought he was insane. He got tackled once or twice. Hurt his leg bad, and I thought that was it. But they did it. Hats off to them. Awesome game. You know, you don't want anything that you're rooting for in sports to come down to a pivotal call by the refs, but maybe we don't, commit a penalty. And even the guy they called for the flag, he came out and said, yeah, I pulled the guy's jersey. I held him. I was hoping they didn't see it or call it, but they did. So it is what it is. I want to jump into some car news. The other day I was on the freeway, just got done dropping my mother-in-law off at church, and I looked and I saw a Prius towing a Prius on the highway. It had one Prius, a little car dolly, and another Prius. And I pointed out to my wife, I go, look at that. That's a Prius towing a Prius. My wife goes, yeah, I saw that. They can do that? I said, well, yeah. We're literally watching it happen. And I wanted that to be the last of the car news, honestly, because it was so bizarre. But another story, a Lamborghini Urus, which is the Lamborghini SUV, was caught on camera stealing catalytic converters. After doing some research, this is from last November of 2022. This happened in Torrance. But the thought was you would think it'd be a beat-up sedan, like a panel van, an old truck, something not, 152. I don't even know how much a Urus cost, $200,000. I'm going to say $250,000. Probably stolen. But this was in Torrance, like I said, the Torrance Police Department. A group of men was seen in a yellow Lamborghini Urus after parking beside a white van. The target will, of course, the precious catalytic converter that has become the subject of theft in recent years. This is by Jacob Oliva. Oliva? I don't know, by Motor1.com. This isn't just reported by Motor1. He just took it and wrote it because this is not just their story. But this happens all the time. And I don't need to really say much about this. I've talked about this before, catalytic converters being stolen. But this is notable. Earlier in November, the United States Department of Justice stopped a multi-state catalytic converter theft ring. The indictment involved 21 people from across 5 states and sought the forfeiture of over $545 million in assets. It said last year, which at this point was 2021, approximately 1,600 catalytic converters were reportedly stolen in California each month, and California accounts for 37% of all catalytic converter theft claims nationwide. That's insane. This last story is a little personal. We had some cousins coming to town recently, Eddie and Jose, and they hung out, stayed at our house. And they needed a car because our thought was, okay, they're coming into town. I need my Infiniti. My wife needs her Audi when she goes to work. The suggestion is, hey, guys, you may want to rent a car depending on what you want to do. We may not be able to break away from work. Because most of this wasn't on the weekend. It was during the week. Anyway, fast forward, long story short, my son, who does the churro business, he decides to lend them a car. He has a Ford Focus that they can use. Now, I'm thinking about this because a few days prior, actually the day that Aaron was in studio, my son called me and said, hey, got a problem with the Ford Focus. I go, well, what happened? The thing that holds the spark plug in busted. The screw busted. Spark plug popped out on one of my renters. Oil all over the place. Blah, 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 blah. I go, oh, what do you want to do about it? He goes, well, the screw is stripped, so I don't really have anything to hold it down. He goes, but there's also oil all over the place. I go, well, yeah, there's oil all over the place because it's normal, because when you screw in a spark plug, it's going to get a little bit of oil in it because it's on the inside of the housing. This is how do spark plugs work. That's where they're like the grill. When you're driving, they do a little spark, constant spark. But here's what you do. Go to the store, buy some JB Weld. JB Weld makes a ton of different epoxies, different uses. They make stuff specifically to use on cars and engines. And this is always temporary because if you can buy a new valve cover, you can buy a new engine cover, whatever you have to do, you need to buy it and replace it. But JB Weld is there just in case you don't get around to it. He says, okay. I go, yeah, take some JB Weld, put a little bit of grease on it, on the screw, mix your JB Weld 2-part epoxy together. You'll have about 5 minutes working time or less. Fill the hole with that, put the screw in the hole with the cover, put something on top to kind of hold it into place. It'll be cured within an hour. Within 24 hours, you'll be good to go. He says, okay, I'm going to do that. I said, okay. So now fast forward to where my cousins are in town, and Marcelo's giving them the same car. I'm kind of looking at the car, looking at my son. I go, this will be interesting. I hope it worked. Because I asked him, hey, did that work? He goes, yeah, it worked. It worked. I go, oh, okay, cool. So my cousins go to Scottsdale. They give me a call before we go to Top Golf, and they're like, hey, we're sorry we're late. The car broke down. I was like, well, what do you mean the car broke down? Well, yeah, it broke down on the way to Scottsdale, and then it broke down on the way back. We called Marcelo. He told us to go to the store. We bought some tools. They're very self-sufficient. I'm shocked. They went to the store. They bought all the tools. I'm not shocked they're self-sufficient. I'm just shocked that they did this without calling first. Bought some tools, tried to fix the car, and I'm talking to them on the phone. I go, look, I'm going to come pick you guys up. Don't worry about it. Leave the car at the 7-Eleven. And then they say, hey, Marcelo called, and he told us what to do. Told us to get some tape, maybe a bag of rice. Now, the bag of rice sounds funny, but I told Cello, use the rice to hold down the glue. So that's what they're going to do. So they bought some duct tape. They bought some rice. And I'm still driving to them. I go, look, I'm going to come there regardless. If you guys get that thing working, I'll just follow you back to our house. That way, if it breaks down again, I'd rather be right there in case it breaks down on the freeway. They said, okay, sounds good. They called me 5 seconds later, and they said, maybe you should just come. The car is doing it again. The thing shot out. I'm like, all right. So I go and pick them up, look at the car. They did a great job, by the way. They made like this cross hatch pattern with the duct tape. Like they folded the duct tape over itself to create almost like a rope loop. Then they brought another string of the duct tape through that. That was very impressive, but it wasn't good enough. So they come, we hang out. They leave the next day. My son comes over, and I ask him, I go, hey, they said there was kind of some brownish peanut butter color stuff. I go, what did you use on that? Did you use the JB Weld? Yeah, I did what you told me to. I said, you did the 2-part epoxy. Well, actually, no, I didn't. I decided to experiment on it. I bought a type of Gorilla Glue. I go, the real Gorilla Glue, that's an epoxy as well. So most of you probably don't know this. I didn't know until I read the bottle. Your regular bottle of Gorilla Glue is kind of like a dark honey colored. That's actually a 2-part epoxy. The other part is water. So if you use super glue, you put it on there, it looks like honey. You take a little bit of water, or you rub the surface with water. Both joining surfaces, you have surface A and surface B. If you get those damp, then you put the Gorilla Glue on it. Then you stick them together. The Gorilla Glue gets activated. It starts to bubble, turns white. And when it dries, it's hard as shit. It's not really dry. It's kind of like it's not really white. It's kind of like an off-white color. But I didn't even know that. So whatever that wasn't what Marcelo used. He goes, no, it's some other type of Gorilla Glue. And I tried to put it in there, and it didn't work. I'm like, huh. So this crazy kid lent a car out to our family who was in town from Michigan, did not repair it like I told him. I know how this stuff works. Now I'm 98% sure that JB Weld would have held up. There's no reason for it not to have. They make JB Weld specifically, the metal-based JB Weld can be used to repair engine parts. And this wasn't even like a piston. This was just something, it just had to harden enough to hold the screw, to hold the plastic thing down, I forgot what it's called right now. They go all it's a black thing with the long stick. It goes on top of the spark plug and goes into your engine thingy. Valve cover. I can't think of the name, but some of you guys know what I'm talking about. So it's not a lot of pressure. There's pressure shooting up, but that JB Weld should have worked. And the whole point of that is just for me to say I was right. I think I'm right. I'm like, I didn't say nothing to him. I wasn't like, you idiot. I don't talk to my kids like that. I just kind of chuckled and thought, well, fucking, no wonder that thing didn't work. You called me for help. I told you exactly what you needed to do, and you didn't do it. And it failed on our family. Saul doesn't care. I'm not saying he doesn't care about them. He does. He's just like, well, experiment didn't work. Oh, well. So, and I should have asked him. He came over for the game tonight, and I should have asked him, hey, did you get your car back? Because my cousins, Eddie and Jose, they left it at the 7-Eleven parking lot, which in theory it should be safe. But I feel like if you leave a car in a 7-Eleven parking lot for more than a day, it might get towed. So hopefully he hasn't had to deal with that. He didn't really volunteer that information. I should have asked. Maybe I'll ask him next time I see him. Hey, did you get your Ford Focus back? But what he told me, what he wanted to do was just like super glue it or something, like something permanent. And I go, no, you don't want to glue something permanent that's supposed to come off. Because then how do you get to the spark plugs if the thing that holds them down has a permanent glue on it? So you got to think ahead. I still think the screw method, a little grease on the screw so the epoxy doesn't stick to it, or you don't even put anything on it. Like you don't put the screw in, you just put the epoxy in the hole, and then when it's fully cured, maybe you get a drill bit and you drill down a little bit, just smaller than the circumference of the screw, so that when you screw the screw in, so when you put the screw in, hopefully it doesn't shatter the epoxy and it grips well enough to hold the part down. And that's the car news. One thing, Hayden of Precision Garage Works. Earlier, I think I said Hayden Garage Systems or some shit, but I meant Precision Garage Works. If you want to get a hold of him, that's info@precisiongarageworks.com. It is local to Phoenix and the rest of the valley, but there are people all around the country that install these flooring, this polyurea or polyaspartic flooring. I suggest you look it up. We were going to get Race Deck during, I think it was February. I think it was like a New Year's sale, 25% off, a smoking deal. Ultimately, we went with this polyspartic flooring. So far, we love it. It's definitely a better option over Race Deck or Swiss Tracks or one of those things. I'm happy with it. I'm super happy with it. But yeah, that's Precision Auto Works. Also want to thank this year's annual guest Super Bowl pickers, the Cody Walker, Noel G, Hector, you guys know him, Ryan Eversley, professional race car driver, Mamba Smith, Dylan Mamba Smith of NASCAR, drives when he's able to, but he is a NASCAR personality. He's all over the place on NASCAR. Good brother. Darnell King of the Phoenix Rising. I met him when I was doing the thing at the Future Collector Car Shows. He's one of our celebrity guest judges. Of course, Noah Nelson, writer and producer. Reggie Watkins, that's at Coach with Reg. I'll have them all in the description of this episode if you want to follow them on Instagram. Reggie Watkins, let me tell you about Reggie. He's the one who said that Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT if he wins. I think he's wrong. I will willfully debate that with facts and figures, and I will win. However, Patrick Mahomes could eventually become the GOAT or be in that conversation. Right now, it's Tom Brady, it's Joe Montana, and that's it. They're in a league of their own because no one has accomplished more as far as Super Bowl quarterback wins and performing at a high level. It's a team sport, but winning and losing is a quarterback stat. Just ask Dan Marino. So Reggie mentioned Steve Young. I love Steve Young. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. Steve Young won 1 Super Bowl. Played great that season, played great that Super Bowl. Started off rough with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before they traded him to San Francisco, and he eventually supplanted Joe Montana as a starter as they traded Joe Montana away to the Kansas City Chiefs. See, I love sports. I'm not looking at this. I'm not reading this. I just know this. Also, Victor Togunde, the Acro Machine. He's also an actor as well. Let's just be honest. He's been on the show a few times in the past, specifically the Scottie Pippen episode. And of course, last but definitely not least, Mr. Wes Tankersley, my co-host on One Drink Wednesday, catches every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's Wes Tankersley of Shaping Success. All those interviews were brought to you by The Cell Shop, an Arizona-based retailer that strives to be your destination of choice for wireless services, whether Arizona or Washington State. They are an authorized AT&T dealer. I use AT&T. So visit them at cellshop.us and get connected today. And with that being said, I want to thank Right Honda and Right Toyota out of Scottsdale, Arizona, fourwheeleronline.com. Patreon business supporter Koya Automotive out of Winter Garden, Florida, Pal Construction out of Caledonia, Michigan. Big House Small Home Design, Ashburn, Virginia, Traverse City, Michigan. Westgate Exotic Cars and Rentals. Congratulations to Drew Bunkley and Westgate Exotics for getting in the ebony.com for Super Bowl. 4 local Black-owned businesses having an impact during Super Bowl week. They are out of Glendale, Arizona, and of course, Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley out of Boise, Idaho. If you're in a position to help the podcast upgrade, you can join the Patreon for as little as $3 a month and access to bonus audio as well as show swag. Shout out to Mark Stolman, Catherine Cox, Eddie Ramos, Richard Graves, Byron Jones, Bo Jung, Alex Camina, and Drew Bunkley. If you want to pick up a Hard Parking Podcast shirt like David Garner recently did, thank you, David, for the support. You can email the show or go to hardparkingpod.com and buy one. Follow me on Instagram at Jhae Pfenning. Join the Hard Parking Violations Facebook group. Make sure you say hi. I can't grow that you're telling the world how great the show is. Let's do this. Let's grow this thing together, and I will talk to you all next week.
Shut up!
Now it's stripping time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.